Dealing with roof damage and insurance claims when you don't know what's next can be overwhelming. That's why I'm here today to walk you through the 7 steps of the insurance process so you can know exactly what's going on, what happens next, and what you need to do as a homeowner. In this video, in addition to going over the 7 steps of the insurance process, we'll also talk about each of the steps and what is important to know. And in each step, if you want to learn additional information about it, we'll have subsequent videos that are included in the description to dive more into it. My name's Cody Landels, and here we do more than just repair homes. We simplify the insurance process. Because during times like this, the last thing you want to do is wonder what happens next. And that's why you need way more than just a contractor. You need a contractor who understands the insurance process. So let's get into the 7 steps, starting with the first and possibly the most important. And this is the inspection to confirm storm damage. Now, the key phrase here is storm damage. What insurance will cover is one-time events: hail, tornadoes, fire, wind, earthquakes, anything that happens in a single moment that causes damage. What insurance won't cover is long-term wear and tear. If your roof is 20 years old and it's just leaking, that is not something that insurance would cover, even if this is just the first time that the roof is leaked. Now, how do we identify storm damage? Well, we do a comprehensive inspection, identifying with photos as well as a photo report to show you and your insurance company exactly what's going on with that roof. And now we utilize technology such as microscopes that have Bluetooth capabilities to take photos at a microscopic level to see hail damage, as well as taking overview shots and understanding how weather reports play a massive role in ensuring that the insurance company is aware of the event that caused this damage. Once we finish that inspection, we will also provide you with a photo report so that you can be educated and know what steps you should take next, which brings us to step number 2. If we do identify storm damage, your next step would be to open an insurance claim. Now, this is something that only you can do because you have the insurance policy with your insurance provider. The good news is it's a really simple process. All you need to do is call into the claims line and provide them with a couple of key pieces of information. The first is the date of loss, and that is the date when the storm event happened. Now, the next thing is going to be the type of peril. So whether it's a hailstorm, wind, whatever has caused the damage, we also want to provide that information to the insurance company as well. And now we can help there as well by pulling the storm data and letting you know that this hailstorm or this windstorm or this tornado happened on this date. Because sometimes in events like this, the hail may have been too small, or maybe you weren't home and you're not even aware yet when the damage actually occurred. So we will help you with that as well. The photo report coupled with the storm damage date of loss, those coupled together will be provided to the insurance company to help them better understand what actually happened on your roof. Now, after we open that insurance claim, the next step is the insurance company will assign an adjuster, and an adjuster meeting date will be set. So you'll receive that notification most likely through email, but sometimes through phone as well. So very important that you're on the lookout for that. When you contact your insurance company, sometimes they'll assign it right away, but usually we're gonna have to wait for a date for when the adjuster can come out, which brings us to step number 4, which is the adjuster meeting. And this is a very, very crucial part of the insurance process. Now, the adjuster typically works for the insurance company. Sometimes they will use a third-party adjuster, but what that adjuster's job is to go out to the job site and identify the damage. And it's very, very valuable to you as a homeowner to make sure that you have your roofing contractor, whether it's us or somebody else that you trust, but somebody that understands the insurance process as well as understands what storm damage looks like. Because I think we can all agree, if we're looking for something, it's better to have 2 people looking for it than 1. So for an adjuster meeting, what we want to do is we want to meet that adjuster out on the job site, and both ourselves and the adjuster will get on the roof as well as walking around the home. And together we will ensure that all damage that happened to your home is documented. That way we make sure that when the scope of work comes back, you have an entire scope of work, which greatly speeds up the insurance claims process. Now, if we don't document all the damage the first time, or let's say the adjuster goes out and you don't have a contractor there also helping, Sometimes what happens is some of the damage is missed, and then we have to go through an appeals process where sometimes we have to ask for a readjustment or we have to do a supplement, which all of these terms we do talk about more in other videos. But the key thing to understand here is similar to kind of like a court case, you want to get that first decision done the right way. That way we don't have to go through an appeal process and stretch it out. Because if we do go through an appeal process, then it does take longer to return your home and start protecting your home again. So I cannot stress enough how important that adjuster meeting is, and to have somebody there from your side, whether it's us or another contractor that is knowledgeable about the roofing process. Now, following that adjuster meeting, what happens next is the estimate or scope of work, or sometimes called loss sheet, will be created by the insurance company. Now, what that means, and sometimes we will also make the recommendation and submit our recommendation over, but they don't have to accept that. But what the insurance company will do is they will create an itemized scope of work. Sometimes it will be close to 20 pages. And if you look right here on the screen, you can see an example of what that looks like. And as you can see, it's very, very complicated. A lot of line items, very tough to understand. And so that's why we have an additional video in the description as well that breaks down all of the key parts of a loss sheet and what it means to you. Now, following that creation of that loss sheet, you will then send it over to us, and we will then audit that. And we will ensure that the scope of work that they're prescribing is something that we agree with, and that all of the damage that we have documented is going to be corrected by that scope of work that the insurance company has sent over. And so that is a very key part of this as well, is to audit that scope of work, audit that loss sheet, and make sure that you're being treated fairly so we can make sure this whole home is taken care of. Now, following that, if we do need to make any revisions, that would be step number 6. We would then send back in a supplement to the insurance company and say, hey, while we do agree that this damage did incur, it looks like you may have missed the damage maybe on the garage or maybe on the siding or maybe on the windows. And so we will put our basically appeal back to them and say, hey, this is what we think actually needs to be covered based on the storm damage that's occurred. Now, as we go back and forth a little bit, that can take some time, which is why it's so important that that first adjuster meeting is done with a contractor and adjuster. Now, the final and 7th step in this insurance process is going to be, once that scope of work is agreed to, the insurance company will make their final adjustment on that initial claim, and then they will release what's called the ACV check. This will be an actual cash value check. And again, we have another video that breaks down all the terms that are important on this loss sheet down below in the description. But what's all that you need to know in regards to the ACV check is that will be a check sent in the mail, sometimes done direct deposit, directly to you. And this is the first deposit that is then paid to us as the contractor to begin getting your home replaced to that pre-storm condition. Now, just a quick recap, the 7 steps of the insurance process. 1, we're going to do a good inspection to confirm storm damage, so that way we're not opening a claim without the damage. Then number 2, you're going to file the claim. You will have to do that yourself. This is the only step in the process that we can assist with. The only thing we can assist with here is a data loss and a type of peril, which will provide you with storm maps so that you can provide that also to the insurance company. Then after that, an adjuster will be assigned, an adjuster date will be set. And then the 4th and possibly most important will then the adjuster meeting, which I've said it before in this video. I'm going to say it one more time. Very, very important that you have a contractor on site to meet that adjuster, because 2 sets of eyes are always going to be better than 1. Following that adjuster meeting, a scope of work or a loss sheet or an estimate will be put together, and then that will be sent over to you. We will then audit that. We will send back our thoughts or potentially accept it. And then once that's accepted, then it will get finalized with the insurance provider, who will then release your first payment, which then will be received, deposited in your bank account, and then paid to us in the form of a deposit. Now, that may sound complicated, but at the end of the day, the key thing to remember here is your only responsibility is choosing the right contractor who is an expert in insurance claims. And then all you have to do is open that initial claim, sit back, relax, and watch your home be transformed back to pre-storm conditions.